All right, so we're going to look at the writs of assistance, and these were passed several different times. Really, each time a king um, died, the writs of assistance had to be issued again. And writs of assistance are similar to a search warrant, but they're not exactly the same. And so we'll talk a little bit about what a writ of assistance is in comparison to a search warrant, because that's something that you're probably a little more familiar with from TV shows and things like that. So yes, a search warrant is a writ of assistance is like a search warrant, but the thing that's different about it is one of the things, it did not require probable cause. So if the holder of the writ of assistance was usually a customs official, simply thought for some reason, didn't have to have a specific reason, but just decided you might be smuggling something, they could decide to search your stuff. And they didn't have to be looking for something specific. They could just simply say, well, we think you might be smuggling something. And so it didn't require probable cause, and there wasn't something specific. And those are both things that a search warrant really has to have. You can't just go get a search warrant and say, I want to search so-and-so John Doe because I think he's a crook, and I want to see if he's got anything stolen. You have to have a reason. You have to say, well, it's been reported that he has this. We've got some video evidence that he was in that area, and so therefore, we think there's something there. We have good reason to believe he's got the stolen evidence in his home or something like that, and we're looking for this evidence in the home. And this is where we will be searching, kind of thing. Now, I'm not a lawyer or a police officer, so the level that has to attain, that the probable cause and the evidence you have, I'm not. That depends somewhat on the judge, but also just on the way the law is written. And I'm not an expert on that, but you kind of get the idea. You have to have a reason to think that this person has broken the law, and that this search warrant will provide and help to prove that. With a writ of assistance, that wasn't required. You simply had to think, well, for whatever reason. Didn't have to show a reason. You had the writ of assistance. That was a general search warrant, basically. You could look for whatever. This picture that we have here is actually a painting of James Otis, who kind of brings this issue up. He was a country lawyer and brings it to these courts, these British courts, and he argues powerfully against the writs of assistance. And the writs of assistance actually, in the 1660s, aren't used a lot in and around Boston because they had been misused and people were really angry about them. Well, one of the things about the Townshend Acts is that they reissued the writs of assistance with the Townshend Act. So they basically reaffirmed that yes, we have the right to use these and we can use these. They still actually weren't used a lot, especially in and around Boston, just because of all the trouble that Boston was causing. But they did have that right, and so the writs of assistance were very much something the colonists were upset about because they felt like it violated their rights, that anybody could be searched, and it just didn't feel right and seem right to the citizens of the British citizens that were living in the colonies. So that's the writs of assistance.